Kadosh, Boker Or, Masechet Kiddushin Daf Bet Amud Aleph 72a1. Says the Gemara, we're talking about the really behemet, right? We were talking about where is Bavel, until where is Bavel to do a genealogy. So now we're going to continue and we're going to start as follows. We're on the first line where it says Elmaleh Abaye le Rav Yosef. Says Abaye to Rav Yosef, Leha Gisa de Prat ad Hechal, to the western part of Prat, until where exactly is Bavel? Remember, we're trying to find out where's Bavel because Bavel was very high up in the genealogy. The Yichusim, in order to find out until where? Yes. So until where? No, the mapa just tells you the map, but until where? For example, I'm going to tell you right now, America. What does America include? Does America include? So nowadays, Baruch Hashem, we have the line and we have this. In the olden days, it's just Bavel. Until where is Bavel to do a genealogy? Yeah. So Elmaleh told him, "Maidatach mishum biram, because of biram miyachaseh, right? The pumpedita, which is going to be miyuchas for pumpedita." So he comes and he says like this. It says, right? He comes and he says, right? Biram nasbe. They're going to come and they're going to marry women from Biram. So it comes out that Biram was a place where they were miyuchasim. They were miyuchas. They were, how do you say miyuchas? They had good genealogy. So Amar Rav Papa comes and he says, Kemachloket liyuchasim, kach machloket legabe gitin. Just like there's a machloket to do with miyuchasim until where's Bavel, so too there's going to be a machloket to do with gitin, right, until where's Bavel. Why? Because if you remember, we said that if you bring a get from these places, you do not have to say just like you bring it from gitin. Okay? So he comes and he says this. So if Yosef Amar, and if Yosef comes and he says, meaning like this, in Eretz Yisrael, you have to say no, either because everyone's Bekin Lishma, or because since people are always around, so they could always verify the signatures. From the diaspora, you have to say it. In Bavel, you said you didn't have to say it. So if Yosef Amar, Machlok Yochasin, but to do with Gitin, according to everybody, it's Ad Arba Tinyana de Gisha. It's going to be until, right, until the Agama Shani of Kani, right, right, which is going to be underneath it. Okay? Amar Rabbi Bar Abba, says Rabbi Bar Abba, okay? Chavil Yama, Tchelta. When we're talking about right now, the Tchelet, right, which is the Tchelet of Bavel, right, we're talking about just like the Tchelet is going to be Meuleh of the Glimot, right, so too, Chavil Yama is going to be the Tiferet, right, the splendor of Bavel. Shunya, Veguvia. So he comes and he says now Shunya and Guvia, which are found in the Chevel Yama, Tchelta de Chavil Yama, are the best of Chavil Yama. Ravina comes and he says, Av Tzitzora. So to Tzitzora is also the Tiferet, the splendor of Chavil Yama. I do not think that all of these ones we had the pictures. Right? The Tzutzita, no, we do not have it. Yeah? Check over there if there's any more Gemara. So therefore, we did not have this Tzitzora, and that's what it says over here. Tanya Nemiachi, Chanam ben Pinchas says, Chavil Yama is Tchelta de Bavel, which is like the splendor of Bavel. The Shunya Veguvia Tzitzora is Tchelta de Chil Yama. So basically, one more time, Chavil Yama is the best part of Bavel, and Shunya and Guvia and Tzitzora are the best part of Chavil Yama. So Amar of Papa comes now and he says, but now there's a lot of kutim that are mixed up over there. And therefore, it's not the best place anymore. You know, once upon a time, yeah, but afterwards, that's it. Once it gets mixed up. So says the Gemara, but it's not really true. Really, behemet, right? He wanted to get married to a woman from there, and they didn't want to give it to him. So for what did he do? He went and he started speaking bad about them. That happens, by the way, many, many times, right? You want something, right? So, for example, you want to go to a Bet Knesset, you want to get a certain aliyah. They don't give it to you. All of a sudden, the Bet Knesset is not good. 1 second, but why did you choose to go there? You chose to go there because it's the best. You chose because you know that it's good. But now that they reject you, all of a sudden, no, they're not good. That's exactly what happened. Okay? So now he comes and he says this.
You have an example?
My Chavil Yama. What is Chavil Yama? Yeah. What is Chavil Yama? So he comes and he says, Amar of Papa says, Zuprat de Bursi. It's Nahar Prat of Bursif, meaning that it's going to be beside Bursif. So if you take the picture, right, you have Nehar Prat, right by Bursif. You see Bursif, the map. The map, you have it there.
From yesterday.
In the middle. Bursif.
From yesterday.
Ain Aleph Amubet 2, Stein. Shama Betzad small, Lemata, Bursif. And that's Nehar Prat. Okay, the top one is Nehar Diglat, the Chidekel. And the bottom one is Nehar Perat. Okay? Next. Hau Gavra, Damar Lehu. Hau Gavra, Damar Lehu. There was a person that came and he told the Chachamim, Ana min Shot Meshot. I am from Shot Meshot. Amar Rabbi Yitzhak right Amar, Shot Meshot ben neharot umeret. It's going to be between the neharot. So says the Gemara, V'chi ben neharot umedet mehavi. So what do I care now if it's going to be between the rivers? So Amar Abaye, Amar Rabbi Chama Baruch, Amar Rabbi Yossi ben Chanina, ben neharot arei kagola. Between the neharot, it's like the gola. So he says liyuchasin, to do with yuchasin. The Hechal kaima. So where is it exactly? Amar Rabbi Yochanan, says Rabbi Yochanan, me'i dekida lulel, from i dekida and from above. So says the Gemara, V'ham Rabbi Yochanan says ad ma'abarta de gizma. He says it's until the darom, which is called ma'abarta de gizma. So Rabbi Abaye says ritzua nafka. There's a little ritzua going out, right? And therefore that's where it's going to be the place of the psulim, and it goes until shok meshat. Okay. So Amar Ravi Kabaravi Chanan el Amarav Chalzon Arei Kagola Liyuchasin. So Chalzon, I found it. It's on the top of the picture. Yeah, if you look at the picture, always have the picture, guys. Yeah, the Chalzon over there. So that Chalzon is like the Gola to do with Yuchasin. Yeah. מה אתה אומר? Haruch kores chilvan. But Rashi omer chalzon, kvodo. Okay? So he says here, it's like the gula to do with yuchasim. So Amar lehu Abaye comes and he says, Latzati tulei yevamahi denafla lehatam. He comes and he says, right, that don't listen, right, to it. Why? Because the yevamah came to him there, right? And what happened is that in front the and therefore they called it a place which was miyuchas. So Amalei, they told him, Atu didi. He says, what, this is my psak? They're Rav Chanan. It's Rav Chanan. So they went and they asked Rav Chanan, V'amalu, and he told them, Hach Yamarav, this is what Rav says, Chalzon ari kagola liyuchasim. It's like gola for the yuchasim. Upliga, and this argues on Rabbi Abba Bar Kahana. Ta'amar Rabbi Abba Bar Kahana, what does it mean in the pasuk? Vayanchem bechlach. Right? This is usually lach, by the way. But here it says bechlach. Uchavor. Nehar Gozan V'Arei Madai. Chalach is Chalzon. Chavor is Hadiyav. Nehar Gozan is Ginzak. Arei Madai is Hamadan v'Chavrotea. Yarla Izon Nihavanda v'Chavrotea. My Chavrotea, Shmuel, Krach Mushchi v'Chuski v'Rumski. So basically, these are all just different parts, right? Which we're trying to find out that the king of Assyria, right, when he came and he took the Seret HaShvatim, right? It's like they were taking them to different places. Okay?
Syria?
Assyria, not Syria. Assyria. Ashur is Assyria in English. Okay? So Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Yes, in English. Right? Amar Rabbi Yochanan says Rabbi Yochanan, the kulam lipsol. What does that mean? All the Yoshvei HaMekomot haelu hem psulim. Right? Because b'noteim of Aseret HaShvatim, they got mixed up with the Goyim. And therefore, according to them, it comes out that they're all psulim. So therefore, it's going to be a big problem. Okay, obviously, this is going to the Shita, that a Goy that has relations with a Jew is a mamzer. Okay? Fine. Kasal Kadaita, so we will talk to say, no, this is according to the Shita. We don't pass them. No, but it could be that some people, some Shita do, but we don't. Kasal Kadaita, so we thought Mushki is Mushkini. So for obviously it's not. So he says, no, you're right. There are two different places. One of them is Mushche, one is Mushkine. Right? They're two different places, meaning don't think it's the same thing. It's two different places. Fine. Then it says in the pasuk, Utlat il'im bepuma ben shina. What does that mean? There are three like tzlaot. There are three like ribs coming out in the mouth between its teeth. What does that mean? So it's mashma that there were like three different things, right? Sometimes it's inside of its mouth, sometimes it's between its teeth, right? Which means basically sometimes it's saying that sometimes they were conquered and sometimes they were not. So therefore they weren't mishubad. So it all depends on the cities. Okay, that's what it means that you had cities which were sometimes underneath them and sometimes not. So he comes and he says like this. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says the pasuk is talking about chalzon, hadyav, and etzivim. Shepamim bolatan upamim polatan. Sometimes they were moshel on them, and sometimes they weren't moshel on them. So it depends whether they were conquered underneath them, right, or not. Va'aru cheva achore tinyana damya ledov. There's another chaya which is right shniya domel ledov. Tani Rav Yosef. So here, by the way, we're talking about the pasuk in Daniel. That we're talking about the 4 chayot, the 4 wild animals, which are compared to the 4 malchuyot that they subjugated Bnei Israel under them, right? So the second one was a dov, right? That's actually malchut peras, Persians. Okay, so it says over here. So this is 51 years after the Churban Beit Rishon. It was the Persians that took over the kingdom. So it says here, Tani Rav Yosef, elu parsim. These are the parsim shaflim v'shotim kedov, that they eat and drink like bears. Surbalim kedov, they have a lot of meat, flesh like bears. They have a lot of hair like the bears. Right? And they do not have menucha, right, like a dove. Right? What does that mean? That even if they're going to be tied up, right? He says, he's just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Biami, when he used to see a parsai, right? This is a Persian, a parsi that he's riding. Amar Hainu Duba Naida. This is a mobile dove, a mobile bear. Yeah, he's running on a mobile bear. Okay, fine. So Amar le Rabbi le Levi. So says Rabbi to Levi, Hareni Parsim. Show me the Parsim. Amar he told him, Domim lechaylot Bet David. Right, they were compared to the chayalim of the Bet David, which means the chayalim of Bet David, they were warriors, they were strong, they were big giants. So same thing. Hareni Chabbarim. So show me the Chabbarim, which is right beside the Persians. So he says, Domin Malache Chabbala. These are Malache Chabbala, these guys. Yeah? Hareni Ishmaelim. Show me the Ishmaelim. Domin La Seirim Shel Bet HaKiseh. They're compared to the demons of the Bet HaKiseh, the demons of the washroom. Those are the Ishmaelim. Right? It says here because they're always wearing black, so they're Domin to Shedim. Yeah. Hareni Talmidei Chachamim shebeBavel. Show me the Talmidei Chachamim of Bavel. So he says, Domim Malachei Hasharet. They're going to be Malachei Hasharet. Yeah. So they're going to be compared to the Malachei Hasharet. Ki hava nicha nefshe the Rabbi. When Rabbi was passing away, Amar, he comes and he says, Homanya Ika beBavel. He says, there's Almania in Bavel. Yeah, they were גיבונים. מה?
לא, זה לא גבורה, זה...
לא, זה שיחה. שיחה, לדבר.
לא גבורה.
לא, בדרך כלל, זה בדרך כלל. יש לפעמים שגבר גם לוקח את ה... מה? מה אתה אומר?
קיבלו גישה.
ככה? למה הפרצים? הקדוש ברוך הוא נתן להם את זה.
נטלו, זה לקחו.
כן, כן,
לא נתנו להם.
הקדוש ברוך הוא נתן להם את זה.
לא, אבל נטלו זה לא נתן להם הקדוש ברוך הוא, זה הם לקחו.
לא, זה הכוונה, הם לקחו את זה.
קיבלו את זה, מה זה נתנו? שהם הלכו לקרוא בשמיים.
So he says like this. So he says, when Rabbi was passing away, he had a nevuah. Ve'amar, and he said, yeah, écoute-moi. He comes, right? And he says like this. He says, Amar homanya ika beBavel, right? Kula amonae hi. He says, right, there's a city which is called Omania, right, which is in Bavel. Says everything is of Amonim. The city which is called Masgaria in Bavel, all of them are Mamzerim. Yeah? So he comes and he says, and therefore a Kasher is not allowed to come and to get married to them. Yeah? So he says, so he comes and he says,
It's the hate series.
So he comes and he says this, Birka Ika beBavel, you got excited that they're Mamzerim in Bavel. He says, Birka Ika beBavel, Ushne Achim, and their 2 brothers, Yesh Machlifim Neshotem Zelazeh, that they come and they switch wives, and therefore the children are Mamzerim. Birta de Satya, Ika Babavel, Ayom, Saru Me'acharei Makom. And there's a place called Birta de Satya that they Saru, right? Because their Satya is to turn away. So they turned away from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So now the Gemara says, the Ak Pepire Bechavre B'Shabbata, that they were getting fish in the swamps on Shabbat. The Oziel v'Tzadu Shabbat, and then they used to come and they used to capture them on Shabbat. The Shamtinu Rabbi Yachav Rabbi Yoshia v'Shtamud. So what happened was they put them in Nidui. Yeah, he put them in Nidui, and after putting them in Nidui, right, they went off the path. Okay.
מה הכוונה השתמדו, הרב? זה לא excommunication, לא?
No, Shamtinu is to excommunicate.
לא,
השתמוד.
בדיוק, מה זה?
להשתמד, that they went off the path.
חשבתי שהשמידו.
No, הם הלכו והשתמדו. The second they were put in Cherem, they went off the path. Akra de Agma Ika beBavel. There's a place which is called Akra de Agma. And a person that's called Ada Barava Yeshba, right? Ein Bet Amud Bet, 72b. Hayom Yoshev Becheko Shel Avraham. Today, he was being circumcised. And therefore, he's with Avraham Avinu. Yeah? Yeah? Hayom Nolad Rav Yehuda Babel. He comes and he says, today, Rav Yehuda was born in Babel. So he says, the Amar Mor, because Mor says, yeah, Keshemet Rabbi Akiva, when Rabbi Akiva passed away, right? Nolad Rebbe. So this is very, very important. When Rabbi Akiva passed away, Rabbi Yudah Nasi was born. Keshemet Rebbe. When Rabbi passed away, right? Nolad Rabbi Yudah. Rabbi Yudah was born. Keshemet Rabbi Yudah. When Rabbi Yudah passed away, Nolad Rava was born. Keshemet Rava. When Rava was born, Nolad Ravashi. Ravashi was when Rava passed away, Ravashi was born. To teach you that there's not going to be a tzaddik, right? That is niftar from the world until another tzaddik, right? Until another tzaddik, right? He comes and he says, until another tzaddik, yeah, which is, how do you call this? He comes and he says, which is going to be born, comes from it. Shneimar says a pasuk, Nezarach HaShemesh Uba HaShemesh. Right? The sun sets, but then the sun goes up. Right? Which means, right, that even though you're right, one of the big tzaddikim passed away, immediately there was another tzaddik that was born.
Same day?
Same day. Same day. Same day.
Maybe same minutes.
It could be even the same second. Yeah. Here he comes and he says, yeah, right before. Okay. עד שלא כבתה שמשו של עלי, זרחה שמשו של שמואל הרמתי. Until Eli passed away, right, the Shemuel Aramati already came out. שנאמר, ונר אלוהים טרם יכבה, ושמואל שוכב. The ner Elohim, before it came out, Shmuel was coming and he was already, right, lying down, which means that it was actually, right, again, right, it was over there. Tziva Hashem Yaakov sevivav tzarav. So he says over here, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was gazar, that those nations of Ammon and Moab, right, that they always caused problems to Am Yisrael, right, that they were also, right, when they were going to go out to Galut, also they're going to cause them problems. Rav Yehuda comes and he says, Kegon Homanya, because we said that Homanya, even though it was in Bavel, it was full of Ammonim. Beful Nara, right? What did you say? Homanya. Okay, fine. But Homanya was in Bavel, we said. Homanya was the place that we said that was in Bavel that was full of Ammonim. Here it is. Homanya, it's a city, Shishma Homanya, Ika beBavel is in Bavel, Kula Ammonaehi, and everything, all the Yoshuvei are Ammonim. Amon.
ותראה מה הם עשו.
זה המון?
המון.
אם זה בבבל זה עיראק.
ותראה מה הם עשו, שהיו מסובבים מצרים ליהודים.
Yeah, that's what it said.
אמרת את זה?
Yes. Okay. Siva Shem Yaakov Sevivav Tzarav. Just like they caused tzarot to Am Yisrael, Ammon Moav Tamid, אז גם בגלות, הם עשו אותו דבר. ויהי כי נביאי ופלטיהו בן בניהו מת, ויפול על פניי ויזעק קול גדול ואומר, אהה, אדוני אלוהים. Rav Shmuel, because here, by the way, there are two different ways to explain this pasuk in Yecheskel. And therefore, we're going to try to come and understand what is the Yuchasid. And it says like this, Rav Shmuel, right? There's a machloket Rav and Shmuel. Yeah? He comes and he says, right? אחד אמר לטובה, ואחד אמר לרעה. One of them says לטובה, and one of them says לרעה. What does that mean? Basically, if you're going to say that he was screaming because he was such a tzaddik, and therefore it was bad that he died, or was it he was screaming because he was a rasha, right? And therefore he was upset, that why did he die with peace? He died in peace. He shouldn't have died in peace. So Manda Amar, according to Manda Amar Letova, Kiyadi standard the Nishan, the Moshel of Nishan, Chatne de Nuchanetzar, was the Chatan of Nuchanetzar. Shalach, so he sent him, Mikula Yeshiva Daitilach, from all the Shevi that you brought me, Lo Shadatlan de Kaile Kaman. You didn't send me Avadim from the Shivya that they should serve me. So Baile Shadure Lem Yisrael, he wanted to send them the Jews, right? Amale Platiau ben Benayahu to Nuchanetzar, Anan de Chashivina Neku Kamikamachacha. We, which are Chashuvim, right, we're going to serve you. The Avdim, but our Avadim, Nezulatam, you should send them over there. Right? Which means basically like this: they had Avadim. The Jews had Avadim. So what happened was that they went and they told the how do you call this? This is the Chatan of Nebuchadnezzar. They went and they said, listen, we're Chashuvim. Let us serve you. Our Avadim, which are less Chashuvim, let them serve him. So send them to him. That's what they were saying. Amar Navi, so the Navi says, Yisrael, Yamud b'chatzi yamav, the one that came and saved, right, Yisrael, instead of becoming Avadim to Avadim, Yamud b'chatzi yamav, they're going to die in half his lifetime. So man damar l'ra, but that means that according to this guy did something good. Everyone understood what happened. One more time. The Nebuchadnezzar comes and he says, you didn't send any servants to come and to serve me. So this guy, the Chatan of Nebuchadnezzar, was going to send them the Jews. So this Jew came, this Platiyahu ben Benayah, right? It's in brackets, the above, right? So you come and he says, right, I don't understand. You're going to come, right, and you're going to send us that we're Chashuvim. We're Chashuv, we should serve you. Send him our Avadim. So that's what he did. He went and he sent their Avadim. So instead of us becoming the Avadim to Nebuchadnezzar, right, we were still in our place, and then he sent our Avadim over there. So Mandamar l'ra'ah, but according to the Mandamar, right, that it was bad. That means Platiyahu was a rasha. Midirtiv is a pasuk, Vatisa oti ruach vatave oti el shar bet Hashem karmoni hapone kadima v'hine bepetach hashar 25 ish v'yireh betocham et Yazania ben Azur vePlatiyahu ben Benayahu sadei ha'am וכתיב, and it says, ויבא אותי אל חצר בית השם הפנימי ונפתח היכל השם בין העולם למזבח כ-25 איש אחוריהם אל היכל השם ולהם קדמה. והם משתחווים קדמה לשמש. So they're serving idols. They're serving the sun instead of serving Hashem. Imagine, they're in the Hechal, they're in the Beit HaMikdash, and instead of serving the Baruch Hu, הם משתחווים לשמש. What's going on? ממשמע שנאמר, for the fact that it's written in the pasuk ופניהם קדמה, that their faces to the east, אני יודע I don't know that their backs are to the west. So what does it mean then? Sorry. Thank you. It comes out that they were megalim et atzmam from their back. They were revealing themselves towards the Shekhinah, which is in the west, right? And then they were doing their tzrachim, klape mala, klape the Shekhinah. That means mamash, they were trying to like desecrate the Shekhinah, desecrate Hashem. So this guy's a Rosh, because this guy, Platiyahu ben Benayahu sadei ha'am, right? He's coming and he's a big rasha over here. Yeah? No, usually it's also who does it. But here also, here is saying what he's doing. The Kama Navi, so the Navi says, somebody that did such a bad thing, Yamuta mitato, he's just going to die in his bed. I mean, he should die a terrible death. Yeah? So Tistayem, so we're going to try to bring a proof. This Shmuel da Amar, that it's Shmuel that says that he was a bad guy. It says Mushkani is like the Gola, right? The Meishon, but Meishon, they didn't suspect because there's no Avadim and no Mamzerim there. Ella Kohanim Shayuba Lekpidu al Grushot. The Kohanim were not Makpidim on Grushot, and therefore all the children are Chalalim. Okay, so therefore, Mitzad Avdut, no problem. Mitzad Mamzer, no problem. It said halalim, there's a problem. Okay? So, therefore, it comes out that according to Shmuel, never sent Platiyahu Avadim to Meishan. So it comes out that according to Shmuel, right, the Baladei Shniya is Platiyahu is actually a Rasha. So says the Gemara, no. Really, I'm going to tell you that Shmuel was the one that said that he's a good guy. Shmuel goes according to his reasoning, right? He says, mafkir avdo yatsa lecherut. According to him, if you're going to be mafkir your eved, he goes out to freedom. Ve'eno tzri get shichrun. He does not need to get shichrun. Shneimar v'chol eved ish mikla kesef, right? Mikla kesef malta oto az yechud bo. And then we ask, eved ish ve'lo eved isha, only an eved isha, not an isha. Ela eved sheish lo reshut derabo alav. We're talking about an eved that he's got his master as a shoot on him. Karui eved is called an eved. But an eved she'en derabo reshut alav, in Gureva is not called an eved. So therefore you see from here that even the kinyan of the Yisur is pakami melav, even without a get shichrut. Because now all of a sudden it becomes a Yisrael Gamur, which is Mutar and Abat Yisrael. So it comes out that Shmuel holds that Pelatiyahu sent Avadim to Meshan. Nevertheless, once they stole the Avadim from their masters, right, and then there was a Yush, so it's Kilu Zefken. And once it's Zefken, they're not Avadim anymore. Therefore, they're allowed to get married to Bat Yisrael. So because of that, that's what he says, it's Mutar lekulam chutz mekohanim, obviously, and there's not going to be a problem. So Amar of Yudah Mar Shmuel, it says even in the name of Shmuel, Zod divrei Rabbi Meir. These are the words of Rabbi Meir. B'chachamim omrim, kol haratzot b'cheskat kashrut u'mudot. Really, be'emet, you're allowed to get married to anybody, even without checking. Why? What's cheskat kashrut? What's cheskat kashrut? They're probably kosher. They're probably Jewish. They're probably okay. There's no problems. Right? Which one?
Just like the eggs that they don't have the blood inside, right?
It's not true.
Well, no.
Eggs don't have a cheskat kashrut. You have to check eggs.
You don't ask. No, when you're doing it in quantity.
Huh?
When you're doing it in quantity, no? Three eggs. We speak about that?
What?
We spoke about that.
No, you do. You have to check eggs today.
On Shabbat, in order to give an aliyah to somebody, do you rely on that, or do you have to ask if it's Shema Shabbat B'Mam? Like you don't ask, you don't know.
So now he comes and he says like this. He says, right? Amar Rav Yudah Mar Shmuel divrei Rabbi Meir. The Chachamim come and say all the Ratzot U'Lemig Cheskat, right? Emondon. Amemar Shara Lei LeRavuna. So Amemar came and he permitted to Ravuna Bar Natan lemin tzavit mechuziata to get married to a woman from Chuziata. Amaleh Ravashi says Ravashi, my dad, what do you hold? Tamar Mishul Zoi divrei Rabbi Meir. Chachamim we call it Cheskat Kashrot Emondon. Beha Berav Kana lo matziach. But what? Berav Kana they didn't learn like that. Uberav Papa lo matziach. Uberav Zvid lo matziach. No, nobody learned like that. Says the Gemara, you're right. They didn't accept it from him, the Tana of Ravashi. They heard it from Rav Zvi in Arda, right? That Shmuel does hold that all the Aratzot are bechizka kashrut. Okay, fine. Tana Rabbanan, we learned in a Braita. Mamzirim v'netinim teorim la'atil lavo. Do you know that in the future they're going to be, during the time of Mashiach, they're going to become tahor? That means right now they're pasul, but they're going to become tahor, right, in the future. So he comes and he says,
That's incredible.
yeah, he said these are the words of Rabbi Yosef. Okay, so now he comes and he says, Rabbi Meir comes and he says, right? In yes. Okay. In yes. What does it mean? Yes. He says, en teorim. Rabbi Meir comes and he says that they're not going to be teorim, which means that they're still going to be asur. Amalo Rabbi Yosef says, it's written, I'm going to sprinkle upon you water, and you're going to become pure. Amalo Rabbi Meir, he says, it's only from that. Meaning he's only going to purify you from not from the mamzerut. So Amalo Rabbi Yosef, when he says, no, it's not from mamzerut. So he's according to Shtat Rabbi Yosef, something incredible. Latil lavo, Mashiach will come. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will purify the mamzerim also. Okay? So Bisham Rabbi Meir, I understand Rabbi Meir. That's why it's written in the Pasuk, Yasham mamzer be'ashdod. That there was a mamzer in Ashdod. But according to Rabbi Yosef, what does it mean Yasham mamzer be'ashdod? So the Gemara came Rabbi Yosef, Yidivun bet Yisrael le'lochzam barahon. They're going to be sitting in their land, Lavetach, the Shalva, and mamzer tavu damu ba'u le'nechrim, which are going to be in domim to the nochrim, right? And therefore they're going like they're going to be pushed from their places like mamzerim, Ashdod. What does that mean, Ashdod? Right? It's in Eretz Yisrael, right? That means even though he wasn't conquered during the time of Yoshua, and it was Yushevet Alidei Plishtim, right? Still, it's going to be like that. So Amar Rav Yudah Mar Shmuel, halacha zek b'Yosef, right? That what the mamzerim and the terim are going to become pure in the future. So Amar of Yosef says of Yosef, he loved the Amar of Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, halacha ke Yosef. It wasn't for the fact that he said halacha ke Yosef. He would come and take out a whole bunch of chaburot of mamzerim from between us. Meaning, imagine if you wouldn't be'emet, they would have taken out a lot of mamzerim. Yeah? Because remember, the mamzer could have been done that a great, whoever it is, grandmother did an avirah, and now all the children and grandchildren, everything are mamzerim. It's not that this person did an avirah, right? Because that means you could have just one person doing the avirah, but then for the rest of the generations, they're all, that's it. They're all mamzerim. Okay? Tell Rabbi, learn to the Braita. Ger no se mamzeret. A ger is allowed to get married to a mamzeret. These words are Yosef. Rabbi Yehuda says ger lo yisa mamzeret. Echad ger echad eved mishuchrar v'chalal mutarim mikonen. Now, whether it's a ger or an eved mishuchrar or a halal, are mutarim to get married to a bat kohen. That means even though kohanim are not allowed to, but a bat kohen can get married to, because the banot do not have this chiyuv. My time, Rabbi Yosef, what's reasoning of Rabbi Yosef that a ger is allowed to get married to a mamzeret? Chamisha ki ka'alektive. It's written 5 times kahal. Lo yavo mamzer bikal Hashem. Gam dor azir lo bikal Hashem. Lo yavo amonim bikal Hashem. Gam dor asiri lo yavo bikal Hashem. And gerim mitzim adumim. It's written dor shlishi yavo lahem bikal Hashem. So since it's written 5 times kahal Hashem, so therefore he says one of them is for kohanim, right? That means le'asor mamzerim in the kohanim. One of them is in the Levim. One of them is for the Yisraelim. One of them is to permit a mamzer, right, to a shtuki, right? V'chal lemisha shtuki b'Yisrael. Right, and the Kal Gerim are not called the Kal, meaning the Gerim, since they're not called the Kahal, so therefore the Mamzerim are allowed to get married to them because they're not called the Kal. For Rabbi Yehuda, but according to Shitat Rabbi Yehuda, Kohanim Ulveim Mechad Kal Nafkin. He said no, the Kohanim Ulveim is from one Kahal, and therefore there's an extra one for Kal Gerim, and therefore it's also a suit for Mamzer to get married to a regular ger to get married to a Mamzer. The Baitema, if you want, you can answer. Right, this is another shita. We're now in Gimel Amud Aleph. Hanenami tre kaleninu. There are 2 kalim. What does that mean? Kohanim and Levim are to consider 2 different kahals, and therefore, when it comes and it tells you the heter of a mamzer and a shtuki b'Yisrael, are they're going to come from one place, from one kahal. So when it says le'avor mamzer b'kal Hashem, mamzer vaday hu do le'avor. A mamzer for sure cannot come into kal Hashem. But if it's a mamzer safek, for example, shtuki, a shtuki means they come and say, papa, shh. Why? Because you don't know who the father is. So maybe he's a mamzer a child, right? Maybe he's a child. So he comes and he says, since it's a mamzer safek, he's allowed to come b'kal Hashem. B'kal vaday hu lo yavo, but b'kal safek of shtukim yavo mamzer, right? And therefore he's allowed to. If you want, you could answer a third answer, right? Hani nami, so to hear the 2 dinim that we mentioned, whether it's a shtuki is allowed to get married to a Yisrael, or a mamzer is allowed to get married to a shtuki. Tre kalaninu. There are 2 different times that it's written kal, but Rabbi Yehuda me'acha, because it says a kal chukach lachem. Right? When it says a kahal, it's extra. So what is it coming to teach you? Right? They're really be'emet, they're called kahal. But according to Rabbi Yosef, chukah achat is a pasek, it's a hefsek. And once it's a hefsek, so therefore it's teaching you cannot learn that gerim are going to be called a kahal. And we stop over here. So remember the wilderness is